Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're going to diagnose a very specific and, let's be honest, a very frustrating condition. Tell me if this sounds familiar at all. Have you ever looked at someone, or maybe even looked right in the mirror, and seen a person who dreams of massive success? Someone who envisions immense wealth, constantly talks about living this completely different life. Maybe they've even gone as far as buying the domain name for their future business. Yet, despite all of that, they are completely stuck in reality. Nothing ever actually changes. Well, in this explainer, we are going to unpack exactly why that happens.
You know, it's incredibly easy to judge someone who's stuck and just assume, oh, they're just lazy. But the problem isn't that you or they lack ambition. The really fascinating truth here is that your brain is actively working against you. Psychology tells us that there are 6 hidden psychological traps, essentially these little glitches in our mental wiring that cause this massive self-sabotage. And honestly, the craziest part, 90% of people never even realize it's happening. They just think they're stuck. So let's dive in and uncover exactly what these traps are.
Part 1, the trap of big dreams. Let's look at how fake rewards and fear betray your grandest ambitions. Reason number 1 is what psychologists call the fake reward effect. And let me tell you, your brain is exceptionally good at fooling you with this one. Have you ever spent an hour just daydreaming about how amazing your future business is going to be, or how incredible you'll look when you finally get in shape? Well, psychology says that merely imagining that success gives your brain a mini dopamine reward. It's exactly why buying brand new running shoes makes you feel fit before you've jogged a single mile. Without doing a single ounce of actual work, your brain tricks itself into feeling like progress has been made. And the result? You end up procrastinating because you kind of feel like you've already achieved something. Section 2. Fake rewards and hidden fears. Because it doesn't just stop at fake rewards, you're likely just scared to fail. There is a massive disconnect between what we tell ourselves and what is actually happening behind the scenes. Reason number 2 is the hidden fear of failure. When people are stuck, they constantly claim, I just lack the motivation right now. But psychology reveals that's literally just a mask. The truth is a hidden, paralyzing fear of failure. The myth is a simple lack of motivation, but the reality is much darker. People are utterly terrified that if they give it their absolute all, they might actually fail. So what do? You avoid trying altogether. Because as long as you do absolutely nothing, your perfect dream remains safely locked in a glass case. It stays pristine, untouchable, and entirely fictional. Section 3, waiting and mental exhaustion. Let's explore how waiting to start becomes a highly destructive daily habit. Which brings us right to reason number 3, the trap of waiting for the quote-unquote right time. This is a brilliant little excuse your brain uses to delay action indefinitely. I mean, we've all said it, right? I'll start tomorrow. I'll start when the economy's better. I'll start when things settle down at work. You convince yourself that you're just being strategic. You're just waiting for the stars to align. But psychology completely shatters this illusion. We hold on to this fundamentally flawed mindset that preparation absolutely must precede action. But the psychological truth? True preparation only comes after you take that first step. Action breeds clarity. Because we have this totally backward, that perfect, magical time to start, it never, ever arrives. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but I don't just wait around. I plan. I make extensive plans. Well, if you think planning every little thing out solves the delay, you are falling right into the 4th trap, overthinking and mental exhaustion. Welcome to the absolute vicious cycle of the overthinker. First, you obsess over every minute detail and you try to predict every possible obstacle. Second, because running all of those complex mental simulations requires massive cognitive energy, your brain becomes completely exhausted. So by the time step 3 arrives, which is actually doing the physical work, your tank is completely empty. Zero action is taken. Your brain is quite literally too tired from thinking about the work to actually do the work. Section 4, identity and potential addiction. We're now entering the deepest, most dangerous layers of your subconscious. So the 5th reason is the identity problem. And this one is incredibly dangerous because your internal self-image ultimately governs your external behavior. Think about it. You cannot consistently act in a way that contradicts how you deeply view yourself. If your internal monologue sounds something like, man, I'm just not disciplined, or I never finish what I start, well, it doesn't matter how massive your dreams are. Your brain will literally, physically stop you from taking action to ensure you align with that negative identity.
If you believe you're a quitter, your brain will subconsciously engineer a scenario where you quit just to prove itself right. You have to change the identity before you can ever change the output.
And finally, we reach the sixth and honestly the most insidious trap of all. This is a psychological mechanism that functions exactly like a substance dependency. Reason 6 is the addiction to potential.
This quote just hits incredibly hard. People are addicted to potential, not hard work. The honest truth is, people aren't actually addicted to the grind. You love that euphoric feeling of knowing you could be something great. It feels amazing to have people look at you and say, wow, they have so much potential. But the very moment real, grueling, unglamorous hard work is required, the exact kind of work that risks shattering that perfect image of potential, you step back. Because let's face it is so much more comfortable to remain a genius in waiting than to become a hardworking beginner. Section 5. Breaking the mind's illusion. Everyone wants a better life, but it requires breaking these deeply embedded mental blocks. To summarize the diagnosis from this explainer, these are the 6 specific psychological glitches that are causing your brain to operate as your own worst saboteur. It's the fake reward effect tricking you into feeling accomplished. It's the hidden fear of failure fiercely protecting your fragile dreams. It's waiting for a perfect time that completely defies logic. It's exhausting yourself with relentless overthinking, harboring a negative identity that blocks any real action, and finally, nursing an addiction to your own potential rather than to hard work. So we've broken it all down, and the mirror is now firmly in front of you. Understanding the psychology is just the very first step, but the choice, that's entirely yours. Are you going to keep chasing that fake, comfortable high of your own potential? Or are you going to break this cycle, face the fear head on, and finally do the hard work? The dream is waiting for you, but only if you wake up and take action. What's it going to be?